We're going to break down this Kendrick Lamar halftime show from a LA native or LA County native perspective. Let's start off with the car. Everybody knows about, well, I shouldn't say everybody knows about the car, but LA natives know about that specific car that Kendrick Lamar was on, okay? Then on top of that, the people coming out the car, one of the terms is pack the car out, having a car full of black people in the car and how they were coming out and how they were dancing. Symbolic. Another symbolic moment was Samuel L. Jackson basically playing Uncle Tom or Uncle Sam. You know, if you guys seen the movie Django, he actually kind of played like a villain in a sense. You know, it was a black person um, going against his own people and snitching on other black people because he was in the house and he was next to the master. So that is signifying to Drake. You know, Drake is he's essentially a house and he is tattling on the field. So with all this lawsuit and everything like that, y'all got to read into it. Let's talk about the song placements as well. Everything played up to Not Like Us. You know, so listen to the lyrics and the song placements, and it tells you a story on how they got to where they were. But not only that, how black people got to where they be. Not only was he low key speaking to Drake, he was low key speaking about black people and how powerful we are and don't let anybody step on us or play with us. Sometimes you got to show up, but also to know how to retreat, but make your enemy think that you're not really paying attention to them. But when the right timing comes, you strike and you will succeed. Trust in God's timing. Not to mention, he has SZA on there. If you know the history between SZA and Drake, you know, they kind of have like an on and off relationship. You know, Drake was pillow talking about SZA. SZA didn't like that. But they do collaborate from time to time again. But they do have a history of falling in and out of good graces with one another. So that is also another attack. So Kendrick is basically saying, you know, you admire SZA. Me and SZA have a good relationship. And low key, if we're being honest, SZA and Kendrick Lamar, they are each other work husband and work wife. Like, that's just what it is. Like, let's just call it for what it is. Like, so at the end of the day, it's kind of like, you know, you had this girl. I don't have this girl. I have an even deeper connection with her because we really connect on a mental and spiritual connection, and our music is fire. Not to say that Drake and SZA music isn't fire too, but it's on a deeper spiritual level. It's not surface level stuff. So y'all got to read into that too. Now, when Kendrick was talking to black people in the current state of today, you got to think of how he had the United States flag on there in the placement of the people. Okay, basically saying black people built this nation is off the backs of us. Okay, read into that. He also brought culture to how significant basketball courts are in the hood or in LA County. Compton specifically, like the courts, how they have the courts set up. It's like a well-known location in Compton where people play, but also too just in LA County in general. Like if you're in the hood, everyone knows you go to the basketball court. So that is another like kind of like whistle blow, kind of like connection, like black people kind of thing. Okay. He also built up to being very subtle. Remember how I mentioned, you know, you always let your enemy just play your enemy, make them think like they got you, they got an upper hand. But like when the perfect timing comes, you strike and you defeat them. Kendrick is not trying to win the battles, he's winning the war. And that is why at the end of his performance, he said game over because he won the war. Okay. Drake was winning battles, Kendrick won the war. Okay. And he seems to have the entertainment industry behind his back. Also too, Kendrick called him out talking about, you know, like people want to sue and everything like that. And you know, there was scuttlebutt that Kendrick was not going to play Not Like Us, but Kendrick basically said, you're not going to tell me what the hell to do because you're not like us. So that's basically was a kind of like fu type of moment too. And he had the NFL back. Okay, for them to allow that, they got to approve that. And to add insult to injury, he had Serena Williams. She was crip walking in there, and Drake and Serena, they did date, and Drake, typical fashion pillow talks. And Kendrick was like, not having it. You're not about to disrespect our legend, and that's just what it is. So there's just so much to unpack with this performance. I enjoyed the performance. The only critique that I do have, his microphone wasn't loud to me. Like, there was moments where, I mean, I could hear him, but I couldn't like really hear him. And I think the performance could have been a lot more impactful for me, even though I love artistic stuff. So I really was feeding into the symbolic stuff, and the lyrics and the placements of things and what was going on around him. So he really wanted the messaging to play for itself. He didn't want to play the message, if that makes sense. But that was my only critique. Everything was fine. I was worried about SZA. Was she gonna sound good? She sounded really amazing. She looked very good. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.